Kevin McCarthy should be very afraid. He might be on the cusp of a humiliating defeat as he scrambles to secure the 218 votes needed to become House Speaker next month. Navigating a razor-thin majority, the California Republican can lose just a handful of votes, and the noes, well, they are stacking up against him. McCarthy faces a mounting challenge from members of the Freedom Caucus. This is the far-right pro-Trump faction that has several members publicly vowing to vote for anyone but McCarthy. McCarthy, for his part, says that he is prepared to fight till the bitter end, telling reporters he will not drop out if he loses the first vote, promising a floor fight, meaning the House could have its first multi-ballot speaker election in 100 years. When in 1923, Congressman Frederick Gillett went through 2 days and 9 rounds of votes in order to be reelected Speaker of the House. It's in stark contrast to the smoothness of the transition on the other side, the one taking place in the leadership for House Democrats. This week, Democrats elected their new leadership team without a hitch. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York is now the first black lawmaker to lead a congressional caucus. Katherine Clark of Massachusetts is the new whip, and Congressman Pete Aguilar of California is the new caucus chair. He is the highest-ranking Latino ever in the House. Here's Congressman Jeffries just after that historic vote, thanking his predecessors.
Stand on their collective broad shoulders, building upon the incredible work that they've done, excited about the opportunities to advance the ball for everyday Americans as we move forward into our future.
All right, let's bring in to the conversation Democratic Congresswoman Nanette Barragán of California. She formally nominated Congressman Jeffries to be Democratic leader. Congresswoman, thank you so much for your time. Let's start with your party's new leadership. Tell us why you believe Congressman Jeffries is the man for the hour or for the job, and what you think both Congresswoman Clark and Congressman Aguilar will perform as his number 2 and number 3, respectively.
Well, thank you for having me, Eamon. I have to say it was quite an honor to be able to nominate Hakeem Jeffries, somebody who I've gotten to know since my time in Congress. He is a defender of democracy. He's a masterful messenger, a sophisticated legislator, and he's a compassionate champion for the people. He led us in 2018 on our messaging. He's led our caucus as the chair through the darkest of time, through a pandemic, through the January 6th insurrection. And I know he's going to bring us back stronger than ever in the majority. So I think he's the man that's going to lead us, and I was proud to be able to nominate him. And we're followed by, of course, Katherine Clark, who, when I think about her and I think about what she's done as a woman who has reached out to me and many of the members of Congress, has come to my district, and just the historic nature of this generational change. And of course, Pete Aguilar, who's the highest ranking Latino now, as the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, as I should say the incoming chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. It's something that we're all very proud of, to see Pete there and to see him at the table, at the leadership table. We've got to continue to make sure that we are supporting people who look like America and bring a perspective like this new leadership does.
It is not a surprise that the right has already started attacking Congressman Jeffries. Here's what Mitch McConnell said on the Senate floor Wednesday. Take a listen.
The newly elected incoming leader of House Democrats is a past election denier who basically said the 2016 election was, quote, illegitimate, and suggested that we had a, quote, fake president. He's also mounted reckless attacks on our independent judiciary and said that justices he didn't like have, quote, zero legitimacy. Unfortunately, when it comes to attacking our independent judiciary, the Democrats' new leader isn't an outlier. He's a representative sample.
So we saw how Republicans targeted Nancy Pelosi for decades, making her public enemy number 1. Do you expect them to do the same for Hakeem Jeffries? How should he respond now that he is in this leadership position?
Oh, absolutely. This is a party that associates itself with bigots, with anti-Semites, with a former president who wants to throw out the Constitution and put him back in power. This is a party who is supporting and going to put back on a committee a woman who wants to get rid of the Department of Justice, who prosecutes organized crime and terrorism, is critical to our national security. So I'm not surprised they've done this with President Obama, attacking him under every possible way they could, stop their agenda. That's all they do. They have no policy that they move forward. They just want to investigate. They want to attack. They want to bring people down. We saw what Democrats were able to do in the last 2 years, whether it was passing the American Rescue Plan and passing an infrastructure bill and a jobs bill and making sure that we're investing in climate change. We're not going to see anything like that from the other party. It's a sad thing, and we know that we got to continue to fight to make sure we come back stronger than ever in the majority in 2 years to make sure we're there fighting for the American people. That's what the country needs, and that's what they want.
Let me get your thoughts on what is happening across the aisle with the leadership fight on the other side. Do you believe Kevin McCarthy will have enough votes to secure the speakership? I mean, what kind of impact does the scramble that we're seeing up top have on the rank and file members of the Republican Party, given the extremist nature of a big faction of the Republican Party?
Well, it's interesting to see the fight play out publicly, but we've seen the true colors of Kevin McCarthy and who he's willing to sell out to, the soul of our country and the Constitution, willing to go back to the man who led this insurrection, incited the insurrection of January 6th on our Capitol and our democracy. So I'm not going to be surprised if last minute he sells out to make sure he has the votes on the floor. But, you know, if it doesn't happen, we're certainly going to see how that turns out and see what the Republicans do. But for now, we just got to continue on our side to make sure we're prepared to fight back against what we expect to be just a lot of investigations, not a lot of productivity for the American people. And I hope I'm wrong about that.
This morning, you probably saw Donald Trump saying what I think a lot of people have interpreted over the years his actions to reflect, calling for the Constitution to be suspended in order to overturn the 2020 election results. This is the man who is, by a lot of accounts, the front runner for 2024 for the Republican Party. He is certainly the standard bearer for the Republican Party. And yet it seems like it isn't making any news in this country anymore because people just kind of say, oh, he's the crazy old guy and nobody's listening to him.
Well, that's something we can't allow to continue to happen. Everybody should speak out and against this, including our colleagues on the other side, in making sure we're protecting the Constitution, our democracy. That's what America is built on. So to allow this to just go and not speak out against it, I think just tells you how afraid the other side is of this man who we know does not support the values of democracy in our Constitution as he wants to throw it out. So I hope my colleagues will grow a backbone and make sure to speak out and not support somebody like this. We can't afford it. Certainly this country cannot afford it.
Before we go, I just want to ask you about a push for immigration advocates, for Democrats to take action on the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It's the program known as DACA. During this lame duck session, they're trying to get some things done in this lame duck session. That is something immigration advocates want to see done. They warned that the Supreme Court is all but certain to terminate the program, leaving hundreds of thousands of immigrants at risk. Do you think something can get done before January in this lame duck session?
Look, DACA recipients need us to act, and they need us to act in this Congress. The Congressional Hispanic Caucus has been leading this effort, and we are seeing a push across all our colleagues. We've got to get something done, whatever we can do. I know there's a huge push. I'm hopeful. I have to remain hopeful for the DACA recipients, for our country, but it's not going to be easy. So let's continue to keep our voices up and make sure to continue to push. And we're doing that with our congressional leaders and trying to see some action now, because clearly in the next 2 years, I think we're going to see an anti-immigration agenda from our colleagues across the aisle.
Congresswoman Nanette Barragán, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate you joining us this evening.